Thanks for taking the time to join me on my channel, Nigel's View on Things. How you doing? How you keeping? Hope everybody's safe and sound where you are. Now, if you're sitting there wondering why you're looking at a DEFCON 3 sign, we're going to be dealing with this in the next video. It is very, very important. Many people think it's for one certain reason, but for me personally, I think there's another reason behind what is going on in the world, that distraction. So, if it's your first time here and you're interested in what I've just said, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and don't forget to select all. But in this video, what we're going to be looking at is in the sky. Surprise, surprise. We're going to be looking at this and also this. The first thing we're going to be looking at is from John Boy's channel. Thanks for letting me show this, and I'll leave the links to his channel in the description box down below. And for the video, we're going to be watching one of his videos in the next video, if that makes any sense. If you like his content, please go over and subscribe. Be appreciated. What we're actually looking at is a time lapse. So what actually happens, it happens very, very quickly. I'm going to slow it down and we'll have another look at it in 1 second. But if you blink, you might miss it. It comes from this direction here, and you can see it going through the sky, and it seems to be pulsing as it's going. Decreasing the speed by 50%, increasing the contrast, decreasing the brightness, and we get to see a lot more definition of this object coming through the sky, which we're just about to see. I've used many different filters to try and bring this object out, and it's been a fruitless exercise. Nothing seems to sort of like enhance it any more than what I'm doing here. Which leads me to believe that if we were looking at the sky in real time, would we actually get to see this object? And I think the answer to that would be, unless you're looking directly at it and you know exactly where it was, you wouldn't get to see it because it blends into the background just like a chameleon. There's a number of oddities that we can view because we slowed it down, and we get to see just that little bit more. We can see this object coming through the sky here. It seems to have scan lines just like a monitor. It seems to be scanning the sky, and yeah. Well, it looks like the clouds just there and there. Just here, what I'm going to do is put a circle around it. It looks like a circular object in the sky. One question does come to mind, how high up in the sky it is, because we got no frame of reference. If you remember the last video, we looked at a roll cloud which was approximately 30,000 feet up in the air, which is about 5 miles. And if that is 30,000 feet up in the air, well, that is going to be one massive big object in the sky. So how big is it? How far up in the sky? Not rightly too sure. But as you can see, it's just meandering along. We're going to have a look at this clip one more time. We're going to use a filter called negative. What that filter does is everything that's black is white and everything that is white is black. It's really that simple. It doesn't bring any definition into the object itself. It just brings out the shape just that little bit more. For me, what we're looking at is plainly obvious. It looks like there's something that's being hidden in our sky in plain sight. This cloaking technology at play. We're looking at an exotic machine flying through the sky. The question to be asked, is it theirs or is it ours? Being round, as you can see there, is it possible that what we're looking at is a lens system being moved through the sky? As I've said, wherever it is, it shouldn't be there in the first place. And it's not it's not a lens flare or a lens anomaly. Most probably just a bit of water being blown across the lens. That's what it must be. That's the answer. Of course, technology in our skies, you've got to be mad, Nige. Next video, Dirty Skies, CHEMIFORNIA. Great channel. I'll leave the links to this in the description box down below for his channel and the video itself. If you like his work, please go over and subscribe. And once again, thank you very much for letting me use this bit of footage to show everybody that there's something wrong in our skies. We're going to be looking at this clip and we're going to be concentrating on these 3 lines coming from this object down here. That is what they call our sun. That is what I call a sun simulator. Our sun is orange, not a bright white LED light in the sky. don't get the two confused. The sun is still there, no sun, no life. The sun simulator is there for a totally different reason. But there's something different about these lines coming from the sun, and they really do something very unexpected, but they actually remind me of something. Let's have a look. We're going to be looking at the camera from Natashquan, southeast 120 degrees, most probably just butchered that. Time and date just down there, pictures on this camera approximately every 10 minutes, and I'll leave the links to this in the description box down below. It's from the FAA Aviation Weather Camera Network. That was a mouthful. We can see our yellow sun just there. The white object is our sun simulator, and these lovely clouds that do seem to come from that object that has just gone past there. Big explosion on the horizon as the sun and sun simulator come through the sky. And you can see that, yes, airplane going, yeah, it's just condensation, Nige. Big blue line. And that's what that object that we're looking at with the three lines sort of like reminds me of, but it isn't. This is a burn mark from some very, very strange lens flares, and we get to see one of those in a minute. We can see our sun, the sun simulator, and we get to see a lovely halo around the sun with sundogs, possibly north, east, west and south halo. Very strange. No, it's not. Something that we never used to get to see about 10 years ago, and now all of a sudden manifests itself around the sun and the moon. Not trying to hide anything at all. Another sundog just there. Yeah, very, very natural. I'm sure it is. And these lovely clouds from those lovely airplanes that go through the sky. As we can see that this object is getting brighter and brighter. It's just a sunrise, Nige. Sun simulator. Yeah. What are they trying to do? Yeah. Of course, nothing. They're not trying to do anything at all. If we have a look at this white line, which coincidentally was blue a few frames ago, and we've got a black line that's running behind this. I've seen this same effect with a high-powered sodium light. Unfortunately, I haven't got that example to show you. You just need to take my word for it. This really does go a long way in proving that the sun simulator is there in the sky, and I've shown it so many different times that this is an electronic device. The sun simulator, for all these new people that are watching the video, is not there to produce heat. It's just there to produce light. If something comes between the sun and the earth, it will produce a shadow, and they don't actually want that. 7 south 170 degrees, and the pictures on this camera are every 10 minutes, and we can see the time and date just down here, just like on the last clip. Here's our moon that will be going through the sky, and we can see it's getting a little bit brighter down here. Very, very green. And we can see our sunrise. The only way to describe that is neon orange, and I'm sure that's totally normal. Looking down here on the horizon, we can see a curtain of darkness, and then all of a sudden we get a great big explosion of light. A little bit more definition on that curtain of darkness. Orange sun, white sun simulator. Next clip, it all sort of like mellows out. Chills, man. Yeah, very, very normal. Watch this curtain of darkness sort of like jump up. Not trying to hide anything at all, are they? And then we can see we've got a lovely bit of red just here. Orange, white, curtain of darkness, totally normal. And we can see this blue line suddenly appear, white and black at the bottom. We got this sort of like lens flare just here, which isn't actually a lens flare, it's a burn mark of a lens flare, and it's actually on the camera itself. But I'm not going to call it a lens flare because I've got this same object being reflected in a puddle, so that tells me it's got to be there in the sky in the first place. Lens flares don't reflect in puddles. So we're looking at a triangle in the sky. That is totally normal. And we can see this being represented here. Don't forget what a lens flare is a representation of the light source itself. So that's what's being projected backwards onto the lens of the camera. And for all those people that don't understand, here's a prime example for all those people that think I'm talking out of my, and I'm sure there's many of those. Here's the proof that It is undisputable, really. We're looking at a wap is cat. You definitely butchered that one. West 270 degrees, and we can see this is from 2016. Actually made a video about this, and I'll leave that link in the description box down below. Nice and simple for everybody to find, or maybe actually stick a card up. There is technology in our skies, and this is a prime example of exactly what's going on. We've got this rainbow effect. We've got these, what I could describe as shields, and then we've got this object that many people call our sun, with a shield going around the outside. You can try and tell me what we're looking at is a lens flare. This is no way a lens flare, because it's moving with the light source, not against the light source. You want to see a lens flare? It's just there. Focal point just there. This is just, as the Canadian camera's got a better scope on what's going on in the sky than the rest of us. And that is very, very possible. So you try and tell me that's a lens flare. That's the lens flare pivot point, and we can see this all of a sudden in a puddle. It's there in the sky. Technology, they're trying to hide things. They just can't let the cat out of the bag at this particular moment in time. And you wonder why so many different countries are at each other's throats. Nice distraction. You ain't looking up. Yeah, you can call that a lens flare. That's normal. A triangle in the sky. We can see this blue line, black line, white line, and what looks like, well, it looks so normal, doesn't it? Especially in this picture here. So are we looking at this object, and this is the representation as in a lens flare? And we do know that because we've just seen it. But it actually looks like we've got a triangle coming up in front of our sun. I'm sure it's just a camera abnormality. Up in the Canadian cameras, we get to see this a lot. As we go down towards the border, it slowly diminishes and disappears, but we still get to see it on some of the American cameras. So it leads me to believe that up in the Northern Hemisphere, they've got a different lens system that's in play. Because how do you explain what we're looking at here? Red, yellow, and it looks like a triangle which is represented in the sky by a lens flare. Totally normal. Looking at these lines, we can see they're now 3, just like in the other clip. So coming back to this clip, there are some similarities between the two clips, and that was easy for me to say. We have 3 lines, but unlike the other clips that we just watched, those pictures are every 10 minutes. So we don't know if this exact thing is happening on those cameras as what we're just about to see here. What I've done, I've stabilised the footage, because there'll be people in the comment section going, it's the camera moving. And we can see that we've got a fixed light down here. We've got this 3 lines that run across the whole camera itself that could be seen by Dirty Sky CHEMIFORNIA. And yes, it could be seen. It's not just a camera abnormality. It is, well, why is it moving? There is technology in front of our sun. I've shown this so many different times. So many people have shown this. And yeah, of course, they're going to tell you black is white and white is black. And, oh, you've got a cold. Maybe you haven't. And yeah, you've got a very, very strange lens flare here. Very, very green. Very, very green. Why is it moving? It reminds me of a lens on its side, and because of the technology it's made from, it could just be moving just a fraction of a millimetre, and this would cause this effect to happen. But the camera's not moving about. But this is just really, really impossible. A very, very strange looking lens flare. Very mechanical. To be truthful, I really haven't got a clue what I'm looking at. It is just very, very strange. It could be seen by the person taking the video, and it really shouldn't be happening. Well, it's time to wrap this video up, and actually what we've learnt in this video is a Lens flare is just basically a mirror image of the light source being projected backwards onto the lens of the camera. We get to see things we really shouldn't. Lens flares do tell a story, and they can show us exactly what's there if we can zoom in. We also know that there's technology in our skies, but with the aid of a digital camera we get an upper hand. Finding technology, if we actually look up, the chances of us actually seeing anything are very, very slim. But to be truthful, we can see technologies in our sky without the aid of a digital camera by looking up, seeing the sun and seeing that sun halo and those sun dogs that we get to see. That is a lens being projected backwards onto the clouds right in front of you, and we get a sun halo. Nothing else. Technology there in our skies, and they've also got technology hiding things in plain sight. Some of this we can't see at all if we're just lucky to pick it up, as we actually witnessed in the first clip. Anyway, if you made it this far, I'd like to say thank you very much for taking the time to watch my videos. It's really appreciated. And if you're not subscribed, just think about hitting that subscribe button and hitting that notification bell, selecting all. I'd like to wish each and every one of you a happy holidays, and I hope you're having a great time wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Anyway, that's all I've got for you now. Much love, much peace, and I'll catch you next time. Take care. Eyes to the skies, people.